Hi chaps, John with you again, and it's time to get started. Yep, time for me to start on this, the M1113A2 from Academy, and it's from Joe's Model Kits, present to John. So John's going to get started on that, aren't you, John? Yes, I am. Don't like talking to myself. But anyway, I'm going to get started on this. This is the first build update, and let's get onto the bench. Let's get started. Right, here we are. It's time to get started, and it's taken off the box. Now, something I didn't show you when I did the unboxing was this little set here. And what it is it's a figure set. It's a trumpeter figure set. There's 4 figures. It's your typical trumpeter set with the 4 figures, all their accessories on another sprue. We've got their helmets on another sprue, and we've got their 4 weapons as well. Okay, so they're going to be around the little checkpoint area that I'm making. So the helmets will be blue, and the uniforms will be nicely camouflaged up, and everything else. Flak jackets, of course, will be blue as well. So that's the figure set. I won't be doing that until a later stage, so I can put that behind me. And first of all, we get out the instructions. Okay. Make sure I got all my bits and pieces ready. I'll need sprue cutters. I'll need a hobby knife for scraping off. I need my instructions, and I need my little green marker as well. I need Abby to shut up. She's roaring and shouting outside. But first of all, we're going to get started. We get started with the engine, and we're working on the interior floor plate that contains the engine, the gearbox, the fans. We've got the seats here. We got the commander's little turret piece. Okay, that seat goes up and down, whether you have him sitting up or sitting down on it. And we've got the wall sections. Okay, that section off between the engine and the driver's compartment and the main crew compartment. Okay, so I'm going to get as much of that done as I can. We'll have a look at it at various stages. I'm sure I'll stop and show you a bit. So, without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay, so here we are, and as you know me, if you know me by now, I use green marker to mark off the bits that I've done. So I've got the first page done. I haven't got the second page done. Okay, all done masses there. I have the first page done. Okay. The engine went together beautifully. No problems with the engine whatsoever. The engine just literally fell together. No cleanup, very little cleanup should I say, no adaptions or anything. Okay. The interior, as they call it here, this piece here, that was actually quite easy. I did have to kind of keep these two together for a while to make sure that the seat that moves up and down, just to make sure that was kind of firmly in place and still worked. And these things wanted to open up, so I had to kind of hold them for a while. That's not a problem, that's just the way it is, do you know what I mean? This piece went up from the bottom, was glued in from the bottom, and the seats then attach onto that. That was no problem, that went together lovely. Okay, in section 3 I did the transmission, okay, or the gearbox as we like to call it, over this side of the pond. Okay, so the gearbox and the drive shaft. Okay, that was just a couple of pieces, no problem. Again, they went together very, very easily. Then the engine went on to the base, the drive shaft, the big fans at the back, or exhaust pipes there, went into this thing here. No problems really. This thing went together nicely, but I had to kind of put something underneath it and leave it to kind of sit on top of it to rest it on. I'll show you now in a second what I mean. for it to hold, because basically that piece there is too heavy just to kind of stick on and let it kind of hang there in mid-air. As you see, it sort of hangs in mid-air because it goes into a little slot on the the tub. Okay, the seats went together beautifully. I was expecting to kind of have them wobbly and off-centered and God knows what else, but no, they went together perfectly. They fitted on beautifully. They're nice and even. Lovely fit, really lovely fit. Okay, we've got the driver's compartment there, a couple of bits and pieces to go on, no problems again. With the driver's seat, the driving controls, and the bulkhead there, that went on, no problems with that. Slight little gap here, so I had to use it up there like that. I had to use a little bit of filler just to clean it up. When the filler's drying out tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll scrape off and get it all nice and even. I use a bit of Sprugel, works brilliantly. With the post for the seat and the driver's controls there, the joysticks or whatever you want to call them, I also with the seat, it gives you whether you want it in the low position or the high position. I want it in the high position because I want the driver's head sticking out the top, so I put it into the top one. I didn't glue them in, right? And the reason I haven't glued them in is there's, as you see here, there's some decals to go onto the onto here and that, and I just felt it would be just a little bit too hard to get in around it. And I was right, because you'll never get in there with decals unless you sort of fit them in after. So after the interior is painted, then I can fit the decals, and then I can glue the seat and this joystick. Okay, I can glue them in. So that's the drawing side of it. I mean, have a look at what all that together looks like. Okay, remember now what I said, that the let's get some light over here. Remember what I was saying, that about the driver's seat and the controls. They're just, I'll just pop them out now, so I don't need to have them in there for a second. They're just sort of dry fitted there. Okay, and now I can get at that, because there's some decals. There's one to go down here, one on the door, one across the top, and there's another one or two just up here. Okay, some small ones, nothing really to write home about, but they get them in easy enough. But with the seat there and the controls, I wouldn't have got them on neatly, shall we say. Plus, getting in there for painting, I should get a nice even coat with that. What colour I'm actually painting the interior, I'm not 100% sure yet. I was going to use a kind of a cockpit green colour, a nice light cockpit green. I have seen some military vehicles, the interiors painted with that. They were not always white. I have seen them painted with kind of a light green, so I'm thinking of using that. The instructions tell you to do a kind of a bluey sky colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of research into the inside colours. You see, that inside colour that it gives there, that might be just that specific time period. Okay, and I'm doing it probably be a little slightly later version of it. And were the insides painted white, or were they painted green, or were they painted blue? I don't know yet. Plus, being a UN one, it's going to be white on the outside. What colour is the inside going to be? So I don't know. I'll just have to check it out and see. Okay, so while I'm getting all that done, because there's still plenty of time before I get on to any painting yet, making sure I don't lose my seats. Okay, I've got to get on and do more interior work. Okay, before I actually kind of fit the interior in. It's just a couple of little bits and pieces. We've got sort of a radio set there. We've got the fuel tank. I don't know what this piece here is. I haven't had a look at it yet. We've got some more radios and bits and pieces. We've got fire extinguisher to go in. There's loads of little separate painting to be done. There's loads of little bits and pieces that can go into the interior. So I'm going to get all them kind of ready. Okay, we've got there's ammo pouches at the bottom there. There's also, I'm not sure if they show in the instructions or not. No, they don't show it in the instructions. But with the accessories pack, okay, you get some nice backpacks, and you get bottles and things. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing, on the cover box, if you remember when I did the unboxing, gives you kind of an open interior picture with the things laid out like that. Okay, now whatever about the tarpaulin on the ground, I do like the way the rest of the you know, ammo boxes and the backpacks and things are in place in the back. Okay, there's the other side. So what I might do is I might actually have some in there. Okay, so I might go for a bit of that. We'll see how things go. Yeah, that's looking good. So I might go with some interior. So I have the whole interior done, because I'm going to have hatches open. Okay, there's a big hatch on the top of it. I'm going to have that open. The commander's cockpit is going to be open. He's going to be in it, but you can still be able to get into seeing around it. And as well, it's I like doing the interior sometimes, even when you're not going to see it. Sometimes I don't see the point, and other times then I do, if you know what I mean. I like the experience of it. So that's where I'm going to go anyway. I'm going to get the interior all nicely painted up as much as I would and as I can. Like I said, I might follow the colours that they give me there, or I might just do colours that I want to do myself. Okay, I might do, say, the cockpit green on the inside, have it nicely weathered up, do the seats brown instead of the green. We'll see how it goes. So you have to stay tuned, won't you? So on now, and I'll get some more of the interior done. Okay, and I'll get back to you when I've got that sorted. Right, now I've done step 7, which is, according to this, is the final interior assembly. We had the radio, fuel tank. I think it's the fuel tank. I'm calling it the fuel tank anyway. We have the fuel tank, the installation of the radio there in its full piece, the driver's controls, this little doohickey here. I'll show you in a minute, whatever it is. I do not know. We have another panel there, and we've got some of the other little bits and pieces that go into it. It says here to fit it in. I haven't done that yet. I'm not really bothered too much about that at the moment, because I'm going to get, paint them separately and then fit them in. And then we got the rear assembly and the wheels. Okay, I've got all that done, so we'll have a quick look at that. Here we go. Okay, so there's our fuel box our fuel tank. Okay, the fuel box. I want to love John's words for things. That's too much light now. There we go. Alright, we've got the fuel tank in. We've got the base for the radio in. Okay, it's got a radio base. So this bit is going to be painted separately because that's going to be the interior colour. And onto that then will go the radio, onto that little section there. Okay, and there's another radio then to go onto here. Okay, everything fits lovely because I did a dry fit of everything before I sort of installed a few other little bits and pieces, and everything fits in nicely. Okay, so we got that radio that goes up there. Okay, we've got some ammo boxes. They're going to go in down there. See, that's why everything is going to fall off because it's only all dry fitting. This panel here, that needs a bit of extra painting as well, and I decided that it's going to be easier to paint it outside because the panel has got to be, say, ordinary colour, the interior colour, but the dials and things I'd never get in there, so I decided to leave them off. That goes there like that. It's in nicely, it'll glue up against the end there, so I'm not really too bothered about fitting it afterwards. It'll be okay. Also then there was, turn it around to this side, that's the way the interior was going to finish. Okay, so I decided then that I'm going to use some of the backpacks and things. Okay, so we got two backpacks. Okay, they fit in there, lovely, absolutely lovely, and I fitted them in different ways around and things like that, and I'm happy with them. Okay, and I have room for one more bag. Okay, so I'm going to make this the medical bag. So I'm going to paint it green. I'm just going to put a little sort of white dot and a red cross on it, so it's the medical bag. That'll fit in there like that. This is repainted silver, and it's our little Burko boiler. I know in the Irish Army anyway, we didn't go far without our tea, and the British Army don't go far without their tea, and I'm sure the Americans don't go far without their coffee. Okay, so we have all those facilities are needed, to sort of keep the troops happy. Okay, so the interior basically boxed off, because we've got our other section then, which will sit in there with all of them painted up and things like that. It will look absolutely gorgeous. It really will, I'm telling you, it will. Okay, so there's our interior as good as finished off, and like I said, with the driver's seat and his controls, I'm not gluing them in, so I can get into the inside of that without too much bother. So that's all ready now for painting on the inside, but I want to get a lot more done on the outside. Oh, we've got a fire extinguisher as well, that goes in there as well. Right, we've got our wheels done. Okay, we have 10 of these road wheels, 2 drive sprockets and 2 idlers. Okay, all very nicely done. After giving them their sanding off now, because it was just the little joint points, so it just needed a little bit of a cleaning off to get the the little bit of what would you call it, a burring on the edge there. So just a rub over with the softer sander. That'll get rid of the last of that. See, okay, that'll get rid of the last of those little rolled edges. Okay, so they're all ready then to be put on their little sticks, and they'll be ready for painting. So they're already done. So that's that page. Okay, which was the second page. There wasn't much on it because it gave us options. Well, it gave us options on whether we wanted to use the big air filter cleaners on the back, or the old-fashioned, just the, I don't know what they're called. It would be just sort of bumpers, rear bumpers. So I went for those. Okay, I went with the older type, the rear bumpers, because I'm kind of following a picture that I found there on Google Images. I just googled UN M1113, and I got a pile of images then of different ones. A lot of them were, say, of models that other people have made of the 113, and there's a couple of nice pictures as well. So I've decided, and it helped me because I was going into the research for my interiors, and I've seen white interior. Because I'm going with the white on the outside, I decided to I'll go for the I've given myself the thumbs up, and I'm going to go for this one. It is cockpit green, okay, but I'm going with it for the interior of this, not for the floor. The floor is going to be a different colour, but I'm definitely going to go for it with the colour for the walls and things. I think it'll be a nice contrast with the other bits and pieces that are going in there. So there's our rear panel. We had to put on these two here, the two lights and the little handles. Now this handle seems to have drooped down slightly, so like all the little fine tuning, those little fine tuning bits and pieces to be done. Happy enough with how everything has gone together. Everything went together really, really nice. So I'm going to leave the video at that, and in my next video, I'm going to pick up all these little bits and pieces that I'm strewn everywhere. I'm going to get on with the rear door and the inner workings of the rear door. our suspensions, the towing hitches or whatever they are, right? We can fit our wheels, it doesn't really matter too much because you're not gluing them anyway, and I'll be having them off for painting, but for a final kind of a dry assembly it'll go well. Okay, then we got the upper hull assembly, the interior and the exterior, and this is the interior part of that, which is why I don't want to go in and do the painting on the interior of that, because while I have the paints out, that's all going to be that colour, that interior colour. Now it says interior sky, and I'm using the cockpit green, as I said, so I'm going to be painting the interior of that, all that colour, and anything else that needs, like these here, needs to be olive drab, so they're obviously little hooks and things. I don't know what they are yet, I haven't the faintest idea. If anybody out there knows what these little things sticking out and sticking down are, they could possibly tell me. Anyway, then we've got all the bits and pieces for the roof of the whole thing. We have that big hatch there, that's got to be all done, so the inside of that is going to be, it says here the inside is going to be olive drab, but because we're going for the UN theme, the inside is going to be white, okay, because the interior and the exterior will have to kind of match. And I don't think there's very much left to do after that. No, we don't have very much to do at all after that. Just a small few bits and pieces to go on. So, in our next video, like I said, hopefully we'll get the construction all nicely finished off. And then in the next video after that, then we'll get the painting done. So that's it for this video. Like I said, don't forget to stay tuned for future updates. Don't forget to watch on Monday. I'm falling over. I'm trying out these teeth for the dog and they're not seem to be working. But don't forget to tune in on Monday for the bum, myself and Abby, and we'll have a look at anything that I might have gotten done over the weekend. Okay, so until then, lads, stay safe, enjoy your modelling, have a good weekend, have a good week. Don't do too much, don't do anything out of the way, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. But anything I would do is I'll go out and buy myself a kit, build it and enjoy it. So I'll leave it at that, lads, and I'll catch you on Monday for the bum and future updates on the M113.